Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. Today we are on the map Ice and Chrome. We have got ourselves two incredible European players, each fun to watch in their own right and for their own reason. And I saw these two guys and I thought, you know what? That's gonna be a good matchup. In fact, that's one of the joys of the channel here, is we get to pick what we cast, what StarCraft 2 we watch, and that's why I'm always looking for your guys' recommendations, if there's any players that you want to see, or anything like that. And so, without further ado, in the bottom left-hand side, we've got none other than XCOM's Elazer, or Ago's Elazer, which is sponsored by XCOM. I believe that's how it goes. Elazer. He is one of the best Zergs in Europe. He's had some very good results in the past. And it's always fun to see how a Elazer's gonna perform, because you never know if it's gonna be like the Elazer that's going toe-to-toe with like Cyril, or if it's an Elazer who's gonna be down in the mud, sort of fighting off the other Europeans. And so his opponent, I think, should make this an interesting match. It's gonna be Goblin. No, not the villain from Spider-Man. It is Goblin, I believe. Don't quote me on this if I'm completely wrong. I believe he's Croatian, and that's very cool. There's not a lot of players from that region. And yeah, Goblin, he's had like a top 8 in a WCS. That was his biggest result to my knowledge. And he always shows like funner styles. He kind of just freestyling his way to good tournament results. And he doesn't necessarily come off as the most serious pro gamer, and that's why it's fun to watch. I mean, he is just a younger guy, and so maybe he's not 100% focused, but he still plays some darn good games. And whether he says he practices or not, he definitely practices a lot of StarCraft. And so Goblin potentially could go into like a late game carrier style. That's what he's known for. Him and Max Pax are kind of like the European duo Protoss who do that for the most part, play like a lot of that carrier shenanigan styles. And so, yeah, Goblin taking on Elazer should be a great match. Probe Scout being chased by these Lings, the third base, is getting up for Elazer. Haven't really talked about too much that's actually going on in the game because, of course, it's just a usual opening from both these players. Twilight from Goblin, and then Elazer just getting up his third, getting up his queens and all that. Speed starts up, and cinnamon spice and everything nice. Ladies and gentlemen, seeing as how the clock just passed 50 seconds into the 3rd minute. Let's try and hit 50 likes on this video. If we can do that, that would be absolutely amazing. And if you're new to the channel, you're watching this Pro StarCraft match, go ahead and subscribe, as I put out StarCraft 2 videos for the most part daily. No matter how busy I get, there's always some time for some StarCraft. Now we take a look. Blink is on the way for Goblin, so it is going to be a Blink opening. We actually cast a Bly game featuring Goblin that was on the channel, and Goblin went for a mass ton of Blink Stalkers. Eventually it didn't work out, because you can't just build Blink Stalkers for ages and ages, but you can build a lot of Blink Stalkers. So we'll see if it's going to be a small amount of Blink Stalkers, a medium amount of Blink Stalkers, or just a ludicrous mass Blink Stalker. Goblin's got no plans of taking a 3rd base, that kind of thing. And as we see him throwing up 5 more gateways, it's definitely going to be at least a few Blink Stalkers. And we'll see how good Goblin's micro is going to be, whether it's going to be a lot of good Blinks or whether they'll be Blancs. And so, yeah, taking a look, Elazer is saturating up his 3rd base. He hasn't thrown up a Roach Warren or anything, so he's just going to be relying on Speedlings for the defense, but this Blink attack is going to hit a lot sooner than you'd think. All it takes is that Prism to be out, a Stalker warping, and then it's off to the races, usually not over till one of the players dies. So yeah, we'll see. Elazer, he is making quite a number of Lings. He's already got out 14, another 16 on the way. That's like the Zerg, oh, I'm playing defensive with these Lings amount. However, of course, since they're Lings, they can be out on the map pressuring. This might be aiming to cancel what would be a third base for the Protoss, but it's Goblin. He's not always the guy who takes the third bases. One Stalker and Prism are going to be working away on this Overlord, but the Overlord survives. Good defense by a Elazer, keeping that alive, and he also gets a complete scout on these Stalkers. He saw the warping of the 6 Stalkers, and he knows instantly that that can very well only be one thing. And so alarm bells should be ringing for a Elazer. He did fire up 3 more drones, which I'm not sure if those were just residual drones building, but it's got to be all about those units here. We see Goblin, he's being counterattacked by a Elazer not going to try and directly confront the army, he's going to try and attack this wall. Goblin can always use shield battery overcharge on this shield battery though and use it to heal up these gateways. I definitely think he should do that, and there he goes. So great choice to do that. There's no way a Elazer should be able to break through that, but now all the while, the Stalkers are engaging these Lings, but the problem is there's actually just so many Lings, and I think that this could be big trouble for Goblin, but is he going to shuttle these units across, keeping as many Stalkers alive as he can? The answer is yes, he is, but oh, Elazer with just so many Lings is going to come to the other side, get a bit of a surround. Goblin tries to recall some of the Stalkers, but big losses occur there. As one of these Lings actually breaks through the wall, and there simply wasn't enough Stalkers to have that critical mass to really make Lings ineffective. For those of you wondering what I'm saying, it's basically that Stalkers are good past a certain amount against Lings, because of course the Lings can't get surface area on Stalkers that are inside the middle of the pack, and so that means that the Lings are kind of getting bogged up a little bit. And so Lings are very good against Stalkers, but there is an amount which they're not the most ideal composition, because the Protoss just keeps blinking back and back, trading very efficiently. And this is why we see a Elazer getting up some Roaches, getting up some Ravagers, and while he's out on the map with his Lings, he's gonna have to be prepared to deal with this. We see that Prism transforming once again, should be another Warpin, and all of a sudden, this is gonna be a lot of Stalkers. A lot of Stalkers for Goblin. He's currently up to 21, and that's 21 potential blinks. If Goblin micros that correctly, that's 21 times 80 shields. As long as Goblin keeps the Stalkers alive, that's a lot of free trading and damage he can do. Elazer, though, is relentless. He's actually just going to counterattack. Shield battery overcharge is off cooldown, though, so I definitely think we should see Goblin use this. Use that on the shield battery, set that shield battery, healing the Cybercore. Of course, he's busy pressuring and microing as this is going on, and he didn't actually do that. Probably because he's actually already got a second Cybercore. He's got a bit of a ghetto wall going on right now. But it is going to hold on, and we see the Stalkers are trading out against a Elazer on the front. So far, pretty good micro from Goblin, keeping all of his Stalkers alive. He's lost 6, but that was mainly from the early game when that initial surround occurred. Goblin's got a lot of Stalkers on this side of the wall too. I'd like to see those blink across, come join the main front. Roaches for a Elazer are going for a big surround, but Goblin sees this coming, and he'll just get efficient trades as he retreats. He unsieges the Prism because he knows that, of course, that's a high-value target. A Elazer will try and focus that down, and the Stalkers, they can just keep trading against these Roaches of a Elazer. And it's not going to be ideal for Goblin, seeing as how there simply is so many Roaches, but it's not like these are +1 Roaches. They don't have attack, they don't have Carapace, and that means that the Stalkers really can just keep training out against this army composition. There is, however, a counterattack from a Elazer going to be hitting Goblin's wall. Goblin does have Stalkers. He's got the shield battery, but that's going to be easy pickings. He's got a couple of sentries. They can toss down force fields if need be. So we see both these players going to be fighting on 2 fronts. Goblin going to be microing at the third base of a Elazer, all the while a Elazer trying to make this attack happen at Goblin's natural. The attack of the natural will not succeed, though, seeing as how Goblin warps in enough Stalkers to keep that position defended, all the while poking with his existing Stalkers, doing a great job dodging those Prosabals. He's only lost 1 extra Stalker since we last checked. There's going to be an attack at this wall from a Elazer once again, but this looks like enough Stalkers. Great force fields from Goblin holding this wall, and a Elazer's counterattack is not going to get enough done. But there definitely is still cause for concern from Goblin, so as he is just going to keep building Blink Stalkers, but Elazer's almost maxed out. He's got a very strong army, so there is definitely cause for concern there. Goblin does a good job sniping down that Overlord, but I am going to be getting a little bit concerned for him as this game goes on. Eventually, he'll start mining out. He won't be able to replace those Blink Stalkers, whereas Elazer, he'll be able to replace these Roaches just fine. And to get a kill move off on a Zerg that's got 19 Roaches and 16 Ravagers is not an easy feat. That's a lot of muscle he's got to cut through. Stalker's starting to move on out, however, for Goblin are moving out at the exact wrong time. Elazer, but not really microing this attack as well as he should be. Those units can jump on in, but instead, Goblin just decides to do a recall, get his Stalkers back home. He's still got a small portion out on the map. I get the feeling he's going to go for the 4th base, maybe a blink into the main. He's got to be careful, though. He's already used his recall, and it looks like instead he's just going to settle for an attack to try and surround this army of Elazer, divide and conquer. Elazer's been out on the map with these units, but all of a sudden they're split off from the rest of the main army of Elazer, and so these roaches, these lings will go down. Incredible trade here for Goblin, picking off most of these units. Look at the resources lost. Those roaches, they're trying to run through the Stalkers, but that's not happening. And all of a sudden, if we take a look, the resources lost, we see that Blink Stalker efficiency to the tune of about 3,500 minerals for Goblin, but that's still not necessarily enough for him to win this game, because Elazer, he's still almost maxed out. He's now getting that +1, even a Baneling nest. Banelings with speed are fantastic against Stalkers. There's the 4th base for Elazer, and we see Goblin reluctantly throw up a 3rd base, just feeling the pressure to transition, and this game is just looking a lot like Goblin's last game against Bly. A little bit less hectic, but still very chaotic, and I got no idea how this is going to go, but it's going to be definitely tough for Goblin to make this win happen. The Corrosive Biles will get big hits on the Stalkers if he doesn't keep up his good micro. He's doing a good job with it, but look at this. It's just like, there's like 40 Blink Stalkers here right now, and they're all being zoned on out just by a couple of Corrosive Biles. Goblin, I do like the fact that he's got a Stalker on that Xel'Naga tower to give him vision, but the problem is he's just got all these units that aren't trading out. They're not doing what they need to, and all of a sudden we're going to be seeing another counterattack from Elazer. The 3rd base not quite up for the Protoss player, and with that 3rd base getting cancelled, I think Goblin's going to be in a world of trouble. He's got a few Stalkers, some sentries, but he's just got to try and cover his retreat, and the 3rd base will definitely be cancelled. The attack hasn't been able to go anywhere for Goblin just yet. I mean, maybe now he can. Like, this is quite a few Ravagers and Roaches, but it's not that many for Elazer, so maybe this could be Goblin's window, depending on how he dodges those blinks. But look at that. He just can't take a fight without dodging those Corrosive Biles. We see Goblin, he's throwing up a Robo Bay, throwing up an extra Robo Facility. And so there's a chance that he may just be able to get out Disruptors, get some big hits or something, but it's still definitely not going to be easy. The Roaches and Ravagers for Elazer have got +1, so his army composition is starting to get better. A Disruptor is on the way for Goblin. 1 or 2 big connections could be what he needs to split this army up and allow him to get a big win. But as we see, while Goblin's been trading very, very efficiently this game, it's just not efficient enough. He's kiting back with the Stalkers, doing a really excellent job dodging all the Corrosive Biles, but the problem is there's always more Biles. Elazer's building up a bank just because he's mining faster than Goblin's whittling down his units. The Stalkers are trading out with the Roaches, and Goblin is actually building up to a very high supply count, but it's simply just too many Zerg units right now, so I don't see Goblin going to be having a win here, unless somehow he gets a miracle Disruptor shot or whatever. And there is that Disruptor out. Didn't fire a shot during that chaos. And once again, we see Goblin still just pressuring this 3rd base. Just non-stop action, non-stop attack on this base. The Stalkers dodging the Corrosive Biles, but that forces Goblin back. And Lazer's just going to continue on, and there we go. We see 16 Banelings morphing for the Zerg player. Going to be looking for a big attack on Goblin's natural, wanting to end this game. Elazer knows Goblin's on 2 bases. He's had enough. The Stalkers for Goblin are going to see those Banelings, so he's got to be hyper aware of that coming now. And he's going to try and do what he can, but the problem is there's so many Banelings. Can this Disruptor get the connection it needs on the Banelings? Looks like it can. The Banes are going to hit a few of the probes, but actually a pretty good response there by Goblin. But Elazer, he's still got the money to go for something like that again. He's mining off of 4 bases. He's got up a 5th. The Roaches trading out with the Stalkers is just cute moves for Elazer at this point. If we look at the supply right now, look at the base count, it's just not looking good for Goblin. Elazer on 5 bases. When's the last time you saw a player on 5 bases win a game or lose a game against a player on 2? It's pretty darn rare. Goblin's still taking these incredible trades with his Mass Blink Stalkers. I mean, who needs to transition, he says. He's got a ton of Stalkers in the red and the orange, but it's just, there's nothing for Goblin. His supply's gone down. He's down to 29 workers. He's barely mining at all anymore. He's going to need just a god tier Disruptor hit, I guess, and he's starting to move 2 across the map, going to be hoping for those. But Banelings are now out for Elazer, going to increase the problem for Goblin as this is going on. Yeah, I'm really not sure what Goblin should be doing. He's going to try and hold on at his natural against this Zerg force once again. Stalker's going to try and push this away, but they're just regular Stalkers. They don't even have +1, or they've got the blink, but they don't even have +1, no +2, like Protoss players would usually like to have at this point in the game. And so we're going to need to see some very big disruptor hits, or this could be an explosive end to this game, as Goblin's tossing out Disruptor Novas, trying to hit the Banelings. He saves the Disruptor in the Prism, a really good move there. Another Disruptor Nova goes out, going to hit just like one Baneling. And he's got to get more than that done because Elazer, he's still pressuring Goblin's natural. He's even getting up Adrenal Glands and +2 melee attack. So those Banes are going to deal more damage. There's a Viper on the way for Elazer. I think it's getting to the territory that if Goblin wins this game, I think I'm going to eat my coffee mug that's right next to me. And so, yeah, we're going to need to see a miracle God tier, stupendous Disruptor shot. Or 2. No, we need to see 2 at least from Goblin. 1 for all that he's got. Disruptor gets saved once again. Stalker's being pushed back from the Banes. And this is actually insane cost efficiency from Goblin. Like, the little trades just again and again and again dealing with the Banelings, picking off Roaches and Ravagers. If we pull up the units lost, it's 57 Banes, 67 Roaches, and 200 Lings. It's been incredible trades all the way from Goblin. But it's just goes to show that while you may be incredibly efficient, your opponent can just have a better economy. Goblin can barely afford to replace his units. He's keeping his Disruptors alive still. He's pushed back once again. We're just gonna rinse and repeat, continue this song and dance that Goblin and Elazer are doing. Taking a look, the Stalker's gonna be moving on in for Goblin once more. We'll see what he's able to get done. But I have my doubts. He's going to kite back. The problem is, Elazer, he's just maxed out, and I don't see him not being maxed out for a while. Disruptor tries to get a shot, but has to be evacuated by the Prism. There's an attack going off towards the third base. At what point does Goblin just GG? He's 17 minutes into this game, and he's not secured up at third base. You tell me if the Protoss has got a chance in this match. I mean, Goblin's got a lot of reinforcements that oh my gosh, he is actually going to try and get up at third base. The Madman. The Madman. This has got to be so frustrating for Elazer that he can't kill his opponent. A Disruptor shot gets off, but the Disruptor gets yoinked by a Viper. Good save, baiting out that yoink. The tongue for the Viper, I think, licked the Disruptor, but didn't get the grapple on it. But, yeah, we see Elazer's composition changing just to more and more Lings. Eventually, he will have an amount, which he's able to actually just wrap around all these Stalkers. Once there's an Ultra out, it's going to be very, very bad news for the Protoss player. That was a good connection for Goblin, but it wasn't good enough. And supply still remains pretty decent for Elazer. He's investing in chitinous plating, +3 melee attack. He's going to have out Ultras against Blink Stalkers. And now, Stalkers aren't terrible against Ultralisks, but the problem... Oh my god, these Disruptors, they better be recalled lickety-split. Good reaction by Goblin. Elazer not actually picking up on those, but the Lings are just going to arrive there anyway. And yeah, we're actually going to be seeing Ultras against a 2-base Protoss player who's got mass Blink Stalkers. And as I was saying, Stalker's not bad against Ultras, but Stalker's not bad against Ultras, but they definitely are not good when there's no upgrades. Stalker's getting surrounded by the Lings. This is starting to look really, really sour for Goblin as he's going to be pushed back. His supply is plummeting. There's no way for him to replace these units. There's just too many Lings for Elazer. It's been a very slow and drawn-out death for the Protoss, but now we see it. Those +2 Lings with Adrenal Glands going to be surrounding Elazer with that took a while, and I think Goblin knows that it's over. He did finally get up at third base at the 18-minute mark in the game, but yeah, I think Goblin is a little bit Dundies. Viper's yoinking the Disruptors. GG gets called. Elazer takes the game. What a match between these players. All right, that one was a little bit bonkers. The cost efficiency before like that final fight though from Goblin was insane. Yeah, here. 11,000 resources lost to 24,000 resources lost of Elazer. So that's like, and that's just trading out with like Blink Stalkers. That's an insane amount of work that Goblin had to do to get these trades. I mean, it still wasn't enough to win the game, but very, very impressive effort. Good job by Elazer for holding fast. and not falling to the Mass Blink Stalker shenanigans, not giving Goblin a way in, not giving him an inch this game. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the match, make sure to go ahead, hit that subscribe button, press the like button too. 50 likes, can we get 50 likes, or how about a like for each Blink Stalker that died? 36, close enough. Anyway, yeah, if you do enjoy the matches, join the Discord. We talk Starcraft and Alpha Star there. Consider becoming a member if you do want to support the channel, and big thanks to those of you that do support the channel. It does go a long way. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. This has been LaughNgamez.